Thank you, Ginger. And you know, I'm passionate about a lot of things, but I'm totally passionate about the UN Association of the United States of America. You guys rock. And it's one reason I got to be called out as a woman who rocks the world, because we work together and I just get to represent you at critical times. But I'm here today because of you. I was actually supposed to be in New York for meetings today, and I heard that you were in town, and I called Chris and said, gosh, I'd like to come over and speak, because it's always exciting to me to hear how well this community of UN supporters who believe so strongly in the value of the UN as a strategic interest of the United States, and who cares deeply about making sure that the US plays a strong leadership role, that you come together many times a year, but most especially here at the UN, where your UN colleagues can see you, hear you, and share the time with you. So thank you all for making a priority of being here today. I am so pleased to do this today because I often get to quote and carry the word of Ted Turner, our founder. Many of you have met him or seen him or heard him. You know, he was the mouth of the South for a while, and I find it very easy to quote Ted because he likes to say a lot of quotable things. But one of my favorites is that you do not have to be a world leader or a billionaire to make an impact. If we're going to turn things around, we all need to do our part to make it happen. Change starts with you. And having worked closely with all of you, I can definitely say change starts with UNA USA members. If you look back, we just celebrated the 70th anniversary of the UN last year. Some of you are starting to celebrate the 70th anniversaries of your founding, which is pretty amazing. Congratulations. I know San Diego is one of them. And I know we have some brand new members, like the chapter that just got formed at the University of Maryland, just in my backyard, so congratulations and welcome. It's really important that we continue to come together in these groupings and gatherings because the UN needs friends. And when the UN has needed an ally historically, UNA USA has been there. That was Eleanor Roosevelt's vision, and she's never wrong. We never want to cross her thinking because she got it right. She got it right on human rights. She got it right on women's rights. She got it right on so many issues that we still can quote her today and sound very timely. So at the UN Foundation, we look to the UNA USA members as the all-important grassroots voice and voters for the United Nations. We could not do our work in Washington, talking to members of Congress, talking to the administration, talking to the media, without people like you across the nation, building support and awareness for the UN's work. Now, this Members' Day that you're celebrating here with us is really important for two reasons. One, we are beginning the next 15-year agenda that was just adopted here at the UN last year, the Sustainable Development Goals. I want to thank Judy Harris for lending me the pin that represents these goals, because it was such an important moment that the world came together, 193 nations, and said, we have a common vision that is not just about moving people out of poverty in the poorest nations, but about moving everyone to prosperity in all nations. And I want to thank the UNA chapters and members who participated in some of the lead-up work that went into creating these goals. You might say 17 is a lot of goals, but it's a complex world. And what we heard from all of your chapter hearings, forums, member participations was that we have a lot of goals. We have a lot of interrelated goals, and we can't take one without the other. I would challenge anyone to pick one of the 17 goals and say which one you would take off the table. They are all important because they all add up to our common vision of a future of peace and dignity for all. And then, of course, we also got a climate agreement in December, fundamentally changing the way we think about not only our people, but our planet, and how we have to work together to ensure that what we pass on to our grandchildren is safe. But this Members' Day is also important because of the number of young people who are here today with us. This is the world's largest ever generation of young people. I just gave my first TED Talk, and yay, I survived my first TED Talk. And I talked about the power of youth and the power of this generation to take charge of its future, and that includes contraception, and family planning, of course, but most importantly, learning to listen and have an intergenerational dialogue. And so I really value that UNA USA has prioritized young people, prioritized bringing young people to the table, and time and again showing us how young people aren't just the leaders of tomorrow. You are the leaders of today and tomorrow. We need your ideas, we need your enthusiasm, we need your commitment to create the better world we all want. And frankly, we need your optimism. Some of us who are older are kind of cranky right now about what's going on. We know you have a vision and you're going to help us get there, and so we want to hear from you. And the UN is listening too, and UNA USA is a perfect forum and platform to making sure your voices can be heard. So one important way we get that done every year is through a program called the Youth Observer to the UN program. 4 years ago, the US State Department said other countries had youth observers. It was time that we create one too, and they asked us to partner with them to ensure that young Americans are part of the UN. And today, we have all 4 youth observers with us, the very first and the current and 2 in between. This program represents a really smart investment in America's future, and it also helps lay a solid foundation for your engagement in international affairs for years to come, if you're a young person or not. You know the UN is the most effective forum for international cooperation, so by coming here, by being part of this program, and by working with the Youth Observer and hearing the youth represented today, we're helping ensure that the issues that most affect young people have a place at the table. And you know, if you're not at the table, you're probably on the menu. So we need to make sure young people are at the table.